northern tier, as if they need it in some of these ski areas, Molly.
Big amounts so far this season, and throw in some winds on top of that. We could see whiteout conditions, dangerous gusts, some near 60 miles per hour, fueling the threat over the next few days. And we know that will spell trouble for your flights just in time for the holiday travel to kick off. Steph?
Woo, those winds are going to be intense.
Either, Molly. We got plenty more where that came from.
What I got from that, Jim, is that you're looking to go to International Falls.
Well, there is a little slight desire, if you really want to know.
Or Canada.
Or Canada. I got to get North Dakota in. You know that's the only state I have not covered or done something for the Weather Channel in.
Oh, okay.
That's the only state. I got to get a North Dakota hit.
Is this the winter for
I'll
that?
even pay my own way.
Might
honest
be.
to God.
Yeah,
I'll pay my
might
own way to
be.
go.
I'd say with the pattern that we've been in.
I think this is the year. This is the pattern.
This is your year. We're going to check off that final state for Jim. We're going to get it for you this year.
Yes, we are.
Well, actually, maybe 2026, since we're almost done with this year. But this season, how about that?
Yeah, there you go.
This month so far, especially in the Northeast, higher elevations, wow. It has been just, the pattern that we've had, all these systems coming through, dropping snow. The one this past weekend that hit parts of the Ohio Valley, anywhere from about 4 to 6 inches of snow widespread. Well, this next one is different. It's much warmer. We've got a lot of warm air that's traveling pretty far to the north, so that means primarily rain. You can see a few pockets of the blue color, the snow coming down, higher elevations, West Virginia and New England, and then those typical lake effect areas. And then on top of all of this, we have the wind, which we'll get to in a second. But I want to show you the timing of the rain, travel plans. I know we're going to, winding down school for a lot of us, winding down work if you're lucky and you don't have to go to work next week before the Christmas holiday. But the 95 corridor there, the rain that's moving in, essentially just putting an end to any of the piles of snow that are left on the ground. That is, if there are any. A small burst of snow perhaps after this, but so little in Pittsburgh that I don't even think we're going to see any accumulation. Maybe we'll reach like a trace of snowfall, but limited accumulations for many of us. 1 to 2 inches of rain and those darker green colors, but most of us about an inch of rain. So this is not necessarily a prolific system when it comes to the rain or even the snow, but it will be with the wind. That is going to be the headline as we get towards the end of the week with some of these wind gusts. I mean, we're not even going to see too much of a break between this, so you don't get a break from the wind. This is now Thursday into Friday. You can see the wind speeds picking up. Detroit, we're going to have travel problems there Thursday, as well as back into Chicago, Buffalo, and then stopping this at Friday morning, 6 a.m. Maybe you're trying to get a jump on holiday travel. You're like, okay, we're going to leave Friday morning. It's going to be great because, people, don't have their kids out of school yet. They're waiting until the weekend to travel, and boom, you've got 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts there in New York City, likely slowing down our 3 New York City area airports. Philadelphia gusting strong throughout the day, and there we go Friday evening, even into Saturday morning. We're still dealing with those very strong wind gusts, and so it's going to be a problem not just at the airports, but potentially on the roads too. You have the I-86 corridor, I-90 there, and you can watch the wind direction even changing as we bring in some of that lake effect snow stuff by Friday.
That we are. Let's talk more about
Highlighting the spots, Portland down to Crescent City. Molly, over to you.
Let's talk temperatures for a second, because that's been the big story across the southern tier, how cold it's been for the start of the week. And yes, it is still another cold morning. We're nowhere close to where we were on Monday. 36 Atlanta, 32 Raleigh, 45 in Nashville. That's a far cry from the single digits that we saw for our wind chills on Monday morning. Today, the jacket that you bring in the morning, you will probably abandon in the afternoon, because we have a lot of 60s across the map. 64 Atlanta, close to 70 in Tallahassee and Jackson, Mississippi, getting close to 60 in Nashville. But it's not just the southern tier that's warming up. It's also parts of the upper Midwest. And I say warm up because, you look at the map and it says 30s and 40s and some 50s. That's a far cry from where we were just this past weekend with wind chills well below zero. Of course, this weekend we had a much different pattern with our jet stream. Now it's flattened out a little bit, and that's allowed temperatures to soar 15 to 25 degrees above average, even as far north as Billings and Rapid City in the 60s today. Denver 60s, but we're not going to stop in the 60s. We're actually headed towards the 70s, where we could be breaking some records. And speaking of breaking records, every single one of these red dots could be a record high in the afternoon, or even a record warm temperature in the morning. And notice some of these locations. We're talking about Ohio Valley, of course, Desert Pacific Southwest has been taking headlines for those record highs, and along the 95 corridor where we just saw all of that fresh snow, well, big pattern change is on the way. And even this map looks a lot different than how we started off the week, with now 259 million of us above average. We go into Friday, you see that small drop in temperatures, but for parts of those suspect areas that we've been seeing those same systems one after the next coming through. But Steph, what a pattern change as we head towards Christmas.
A very warm one, too. Ahead on this midweek.
Congratulations. You need it. Molly, over to you.
Today's weather-wise, we've partnered with Native to share some easy tips for protecting your skin this winter. When cold temperatures leave your skin feeling dry, constant moisturization is the key. Moisturizing, staying hydrated, and even adjusting your shower temperature will help keep your skin staying fabulous this winter. So let's take a look at this week's Skin Health Report, and it really has to do with the dew point. It all comes down to that. Some extremely dry air that's settled across the southeast, a spot that typically you can rely on some more moisture this time of year, but that's starting to sneak back into areas like Houston, Galveston. With our next round of rain that's moving in, that's only going to increase as we head over, say, the next couple of days as we bring all of this rain from west to east across the country. But so far, we've been sitting kind of between dew points in the 30s and 40s across the southeast. Now, of course, where we have all of those cold Arctic temperatures spilling in, that cold, dry air, courtesy of Canada and parts of the Arctic, that's where you're going to find some of the driest air in place. But as mentioned, we start to see that increase across the southeast, and you're going to notice the difference immediately in how it feels outside, especially if you're one of those people that your hands get really dry and almost painful during the wintertime. Let's take a look at Kansas City over the next 24 hours with the pattern change that is on the way. We actually go from the dew points in the 30s all the way to near 50. And Washington, D.C., we stay with that drier air in place with dew points even as low as the 20s.